Hi all, hope you're all doing well. So we'll discuss in the today's session the objectives related to the Python basics and identifiers and variables. Of course, friends, here for any programming language. So if you are referencing the language convention, there are certain aspects like variables, constants, and as well as identifiers. In the simplest way, so just all these things can be represented as keywords, identifiers, things, constants, and operators. For any programming language, these constructs are pretty common. No matter whether C, CBP, Java, Python, all these things. Keywords would be there. Where a keyword is nothing but the predefined construct. Okay, already the language provides these kind of the aspects. That is a keyword. Coming to the next one, identifier. Friends, the developers or programmers. Okay, just if you are observing the programmers or developers, these members are having certain sort of creation of the variables, okay, or else functions, okay, to implement the tasks. So that means a variable is nothing but suppose if I want to store name of the person, okay, so I can store like this. If I want to store experience of the person, just I can mention like this. So these things, okay, refers to I am storing, I am maintaining some data in a particular location or in a particular place folder. These things are nothing but the variables. So, and at later point of time, if I want to access my data, then I can refer the name and experience of the corresponding candidate. So likewise, functions also. So while dealing with the functions, we'll see that how a function can be defined and in what way we can make use of the functions. And after this particular identifiers, we're having the strings actually. Okay, a string is nothing but friends set of characters. Okay, like I have given some set of characters here. So just you are referencing this particular string, and one important point is suppose I can declare 10, 15.3, but I should declare these particular strings as in the single quote or in the double quote. Especially in Python, you can use these two kind of the conventions. Either I can take the single quote or double quote kind of the things. That is a string kind of thing. Next is the constants. So constant means, friends, here unchanged things. Okay, so suppose if I want to maintain a variable throughout the program as a unchangeable kind of thing, then I can go with the constant orientation. This is what we call the constant. And operators, because as a developer, as a programmer, you may need to perform some kind of the manipulations of the data or some actions on the data, maybe addition, okay, or else finding out of the greater number, okay, reverse of the number, certain kind of the aspects. Okay, so all these kind of aspects can be performed with various operators like arithmetic operators, relational operators, some kind of logical operators. Okay, one by one we'll see with the kind of the examples. Okay, so these kind of aspects related to the Python programming, and of course in this session, what we are going to do is starting from the declaration of the variables, how I can make use of the variable, and how I can access the data, and then how I can make use of usage of the operators. All these things will be seen. Okay. So what I will do is let me share this particular thing, Jupyter, and what I'm doing here is, guys, if you already you are having Anaconda Navigator, so directly you can open this Navigator. 1 minute, friends. Let me share the Navigator screen so that you can have a observation. Yes. Okay. So within this Navigator, so just you can select this Jupyter notebook. Okay. At the moment you select this Jupyter notebook, launching of this thing, then automatically it leads to a specific thing. Okay. So like, let me share once again so that you can see that after clicking on that Jupyter notebook, you will be launched to a particular whatever the web services you are using, whatever the web page, just sometimes it goes to the Chrome. As I'm using Microsoft Edge, it is moving to that particular Edge. And if you are referencing the installation process and all those kind of things, I'll be sharing these things with description box, friends. Okay, so that you can, if you are not installed, if you have already not installed this Anaconda, so just you can install and you can make use of the Jupyter node. Okay, so this is very handy, and this particular tool is pretty helpful to us guys in the implementation perspectives. Now, let me open this Python code identifiers. Okay, as I specified earlier, just we can make use with the example. So just you after navigating wherever you want to store your file, generally you can make use of that thing. Otherwise, how to create a new thing is just go to the specific folder, whichever you want, and then you can click on the new Python cell. So just it will create a fresh entry for us. So just we can wait for a while. So obviously it is okay giving us some sort of empty screen. So now, as I said earlier, so just we can make use of the example. So code identifiers. These identifiers, as I said, maybe belongs to the variables, constants, or functions. Because most importantly, the identifier is something like which is allowing the user to create some sort of variables and all those kind of things according to the requirement of the application. Okay. Now you see here, the first statement is a comment section. Friends, here hash is a symbol where I can use for the commenting. General programming practices while working within while in a team or wherever you are working, obviously, so just these kind of informations are mandatory. It's a good programming practice, and you also try to practice the same because once you create your application, maybe that application is very much familiar to you. But if new member is joining in our team, or if you want to give some KT to the other member, then definitely you should make use of these commenting section. It is always a good practice. Okay, so hash is used to comment. Now, just if I want to print a corresponding message, maybe in case of the Java, I need to specify public static void main like that. But in Python, only single statement. Okay, the main advantage and why Python is most successful is due to its simplicity. It's not you need not follow any structure or procedure so as to work with the corresponding logic. Directly, you can enter into the logic. Now you see, just you can enter the appropriate print statement, and whatever the message you want, you can make use of that. And once this is over, there are two options to execute the code. One is directly as you are seeing here, you can run this, or else place the cursor in that cell and shift enter. Okay, neither of the ways, whichever is flexible to you, just you can follow. And over the period, just you will be preferring this shift plus enter because you need not go to the menu item, and and of course you are not interested to take a pause. In that case, just you can shift plus enter, you can make use, and it becomes handy in the running of the programs. Like that, we're having the print statement. So just whatever the information I want, I can make use of within that particular bracket. As I said earlier, either I can use the double quotes. You can observe here. Either I can use the double quotes, or else I can use the single quote also, whichever is okay. And coming to the identifier, have a look on this. As I said, I can use the identifier for the functions, variables, or whichever. So now there are certain aspects over the period of the course. We are going to cover all these kind of things, friends. Now you don't worry, just have a look on this. Name used to identify an object such as. In Python, everything is considered as an object. Maybe that is a variable, module, class, or function. Variable, as I said earlier, which is used to store the value, and modules are nothing but in some cases, friends, I may need to run some kind of complex applications where daily we are accessing some sort of the data and we are trying to perform some kind of activities routinely. So just I can place all these things in the module and I can run those things. And class, of course, object orientation. In Python, all constructs are objects, which are nothing but reusable things. And coming to the functions, and these functions are pretty helpful in the programming, especially if I want to activate some sort of the task and I want to run the task repeatedly, then I can go with the function. So a set of statements, okay, to perform a particular task. And generally, friends, after performing the task, the function should return a value. So with this, just we are starting our coding identification. As this topic is identifiers, there are certain aspects, friends, where I can whether I can use the a particular frame or phrase as identifier or not. Just you see here, these sort of things like AB100, yes, I can use this as the identifier, is identifier. And at times, you may observe that whether I can able to perform the activity or whether I can able to declare this sort of the phrase as identifier or not. Now you see dollar, which is a symbol, and which I am trying to make use of as identifier. I cannot use this as the identifier because it is saying the false. And here true and false are Boolean type things because whether these particular things are acceptable or not, those kind of aspects can be known as the true or false notation. Next is identifier, okay, which is nothing but and one of the important thing, friends, while working with Python, just if I want to get the documentation, okay, so just to run through and wherever you want to get this kind of things, you just after typing some sort of the value, and if you give the dot, the corresponding numbers will be appearing here, okay, and here underscores, yes, we can use the underscore as the identifier and underscore abc also you can use. So these sort of things are nothing but which are all the possible identifiers I can use in the declaration of the variables, functions, or modules as I said. Okay, and this is so these cannot be used. Okay, because this is a plus b is having a specific meaning. You cannot make use of that thing as a identifier. Okay, so what we have discussed so far is just we are making use of the convention. One minute, wait, let me share the entire screen so that I need not move between. Okay. So just let me refer what we have seen. Uh, After specifying some sort of thing, dot is identifier. Okay. If this particular aspect, suppose a dot is identifier. Okay, definitely it gives the true value. Possibility. I can declare a variable as a. But if I am using a plus b dot is identifier, it is giving as a false. Okay, you cannot use these things as identifier. Maybe identifiers, while declaring the variables, while declaring the functions, okay, in the declaration of the modules, and in the declaration of the classes, or in the declaration of the objects. Everywhere you can make use of these kind of the identifiers. Okay, and going back to our discussion. Now we are making use of the variable assignment. So the understanding here is, friends, to implement any kind of the programming. Suppose if I want to implement some salary hike of the employee, first I should get what is his qualification and which are all the certifications he has done, he or she, and how much experience he is having. What is the domain he is working? Maybe data science and machine learning, these guys are having high demand. So definitely there is a higher hike for these guys. Experience based on the experience also and certifications. Nowadays, certifications are playing a vital role. Maybe the Databricks certification or machine learning or IBM, whichever. And qualification. At certain times, maybe they prefer subject matter experts with PG or PhD qualification. For those kind of the roles, just they may use these kind of the things as a appraisal, as a KPI. Okay, so a key performance indicator. Um, Key performance indicator so as to estimate so as to give the hikes and scope them into the promotions and all. Now, to achieve these kind of things, definitely we have to assign some values. So we have to assign some values. Maybe A equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to some name. Likewise, you can activate the thing. So similarly, there are certain ways where I can assign the variables. See here, variable one just I am declaring as 100. Okay, so variable name and two ways are there, friends. In directly you can use the variable one or else you can use the print of variable one. Okay, similarly, the most important function in Python is type value. Now, to get the documentation on any function, the main advantage of this Python code is this Jupyter notebook is whenever you want to get some kind of documentation, so just you can make use of this shift tab. Okay, so obviously, just it is popping up some window and which is giving that the type, okay, which is giving the objects type. Okay, so just if you want to get the documentation, just go there, place the cursor, shift tab, and it is giving nice documentation. You need not depend on any other kind of the documentation. Similarly, if you see here, in the earlier example, I have used the variable one equal to 100. Now we are using 1000.0. So just it is a floating type. You can get the type and variable three Python. Just I'm mentioning either double quotes or single quote as I said. And if you give the type of this particular thing, just it is giving the string type. Okay. So here data types, as if you observe, just you can make use of the integer 10, 20 like that. Floating value just is a decimal string set of characters, names, and technologies, all these kind of thing, either single or double quotes. Okay, so these are all various forms of the data types. So data type defines the kind of the data which I am going to store in the appropriate variable. And most importantly, friends, one of the best part in Python is I can assign a single value to multiple variables. Okay, so the point here is I am having three variables x, y, z equating to 100, and if you print this particular x, y, z, obviously it's giving 100. Don't worry about these brackets. I'll talk about those kind of data structures after 3 or 4 sessions. Now we'll try to complete these basics of the Python. Now print of x, y, z, or directly you can use the x, y, z, and type of x, type of z, like that you can use. Okay, obviously, which is giving us the type of the variable. Now, another thing is maybe I want to assign different sort of the variables. Okay, some values. X value as 10, Y value as Python, Z value as 13.45. Now, if I'm printing X, Y, Z, okay, Z it is giving 10, Python and 13.45. Both were different guys. Okay, here, same value I am assigning to multiple variables. Here, multiple values to multiple variables. Okay, so likewise, you can make use of the convention. Here I said V1, V2, V4, I can give the value, and V4, V5, V6 according to no matter whether I'm using the integer, float, or string type of data, whatever I can do. Most importantly, friends, without declaring. See here in all our earlier examples, we have seen some x equal to 10, y equal to 20, like that we have given. But now, sometimes you may not giving any assignment and you want to print that value. What it is saying, name error actually. So this name error specifies that if I am not having, if I don't have the variable in my in the Python memory, I cannot make use of it. So as to allocate the memory, just I need to assign or initialize the data. Okay, whatever the value I want to give, just I can specify the value. Now, likewise, just I can make use of these things, integer A, float B, char C, like that, without declaring these kind of the data items dynamically. Python assigns the data items. See here, A equal to 100, print of A plus 10, and temporary assignment, which is not going to affect the variable, which is most important thing, friends. Like, suppose if I am making use of A equal to A plus 10, now you see, uh, what I will do is just let me copy this so that while practicing you should not get any confusion. Okay. So just I'm keeping as this. So just you can run through. Whereas if I'm running through these things, A equal to A plus 10. Okay. So it is assigning that. Here it is a temporary assignment. Whereas if I'm explicitly mentioning how I can get the updated value. Again, A should be like this. A equal to A minus 5. Then only it is going to reflect. Okay, so this is how you can specify the identifiers usage, variable assignments and all. And some of the aspects related to Python are Python supports the functional programming friends with the help of C. Okay, the members who are familiar with C programming, they can easily relate. If you are not having familiarity, also no problem. And object-oriented constructs, which is acquired by from C++, like classes, objects, inheritance, all these things, scripting features. And so far, if you see, just where this is a typical Linux-based kind of the script. Just I'm making use of the commands and all these kind of the conventions. So likewise, you can perform the activities related to Python. And let me uh, give you the key takeaways, what we have seen so far. So just if you are referencing this session. Okay, we started with the identifiers. And these identifiers may be the variables, functions, classes, etc. And thereafter, we have seen some sort of the strings. And along with the things, we have seen some sort of the data types. Maybe that is the integer, float, char, string kind of the data according to our requirement. But important thing is either a single quote or double quote. You can make use for the string kind of the data. And thereafter, assignment of the variables. Okay, without assigning the value, we cannot use x equal to 10, y equal to 15.5, z equal to Python, like that you can specify. This is the another thing. And there are two ways. Either I can assign the common value or else to different variables, I can assign the different values. Okay, this is also one of the best important point you can observe while learning Python. Okay, see you in the next session, friends. In the next session, so what we are dealing is just operators are there, na? Some sort of the operators and example related to these implementation will see. Okay, thank you. And installation procedures and all these kind of the code snippets, I'll be sharing in the description link so that you can download and practice. Okay, thank you.